Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Wednesday, the 17th of April. The Reserve Bank won't be opening the bubbly, but will be looking for positives from today's inflation figures. Annual inflation has dropped to 4% in the year to March, a far cry from 7.3% in June of 2022. That is still well above the 1 to 3% target range needed for OCR cuts. Nontradeable inflation on final goods and services that don't face foreign competition remains high. But Council of Trade Unions economist Craig Rennie says that's driven by particular factors like rising rents and tobacco prices.
If we take tobacco out of the price index, which was driven by changes to government pricing on tobacco, inflation was actually below 3.8%. So there's room for optimism here.
Labour's leader is slamming the government over today's round of public service savings proposals. Orana Tamariki has put forward a restructure, cutting 447 jobs, and the Ministry of Education's looking at losing more than 500. Chris Hipkins says potential job losses are now up to 3,000.
Day by day, we're seeing more and more the extent and the scale of the government's slash and burn exercise when it comes to putting people out of work.
Prime Minister Chris Luxon says agency heads have made the decisions on cuts.
I appreciate that's tough very much at a personal level, but New Zealanders expect us to make sure that we move the resources from the back office right to the frontline services.
An Auckland man accused of helping to plan a fatal dairy robbery won't be tried for murder because he's terminally ill. Thomas Rice has more.
Police allege Henry Fred was the getaway driver for the November 2022 robbery at Sandringham's Rose Cottage Dairy. Worker Janak Patel was stabbed to death by co-defendant Frederick Hobson, who pleaded guilty to murder last month. He'll be sentenced in June. The Solicitor General has now agreed to grant Fred a stay of proceedings, essentially calling off his murder trial because of his unspecified illness.
The Fisheries Minister says the death of dolphins and birds shouldn't be used to demonise the industry. MPIs reviewed footage from 127 vessels with monitoring cameras. Reports of dolphin captures are up nearly sevenfold on 2018 before cameras were mounted, and contacts with albatrosses have also risen. Shane Jones says the government ensures the environment doesn't suffer grievously, but there are trade-offs.
No fisherman goes out there to deliberately kill an albatross, kill a dolphin or some other critter in the ocean, but sometimes you have these mishaps.
Christchurch's Orana Wildlife Park is begging for more funding under the council's long-term plan. It currently gives the zoo $250,000 a year. But it's now asking for $500,000 the first year, $1 million in the second, and $1.5 million a year thereafter. Chief Executive Lynn Anderson says they need a partnership to stay viable. In sport, a bombshell signing for the Warriors, with Kiwis captain James Fisher-Harris confirmed to leave Penrith and join the Auckland-based NRL side on a 4-year deal from next season. Phoenix women's coach Paul Temple says young football fern Macy Fraser's record-breaking move to the US is a watershed moment for women's football in New Zealand. A familiar face will coach All Black Geordie Barrett during his Leinster sabbatical next year, after Hurricanes assistant Tyler Blyandal has also signed for the Irish club. I'm Raylene Ramsey, and that is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.